Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I am a dumb dad.
Hey, everybody. My name's Evan. I'm a dumb dad.
Cheers.
Cheers, dummy. This is, what did you bring for me? A mango beer?
It's a mango IPA.
Mango IPA. Oh, you already tried it. What did you think?
It's honestly not bad.
Oh,
It's like yeah.
It's like juice. It tastes like juice.
Juice. How's
We
it
have
going?
unlimited juice. You know, man, it feels like everything gets busier.
Oh, okay.
What a dad hot take.
Well, we're about to get into the busy holiday season.
I know.
As you say that.
You
We're
know,
not
that's
even
the
there
thing,
yet.
like,
We're not there yet.
We're not even there yet, and yet it still feels like every 10 seconds there's an activity. You know, we got swim 2 nights a week.
Yeah,
we
our kids
got
are
soccer.
older. Yeah.
This week specifically, you know, typically, like any youth sport, whatever.
Now
Saturday,
you're sounding old.
Saturday
I
is
mean,
game day and that kind of thing. But you know, this week my son had a soccer practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays. No soccer practice Thursday. Soccer game Wednesday. Middle of the week, like it's a Champions League or something.
Mm-hmm.
We got an extra game in the middle of the week, and so it's all just felt like, can everyone just have 5 seconds to themselves? That's what it starts to feel like. No. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. My wife and I talk about this all the time. We have like 2 things here. We have this, we have dentist appointments. Today, we also went and got, we can get into this in a minute. We got our COVID vaccinations and flu shots. And it's like everything, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And no, I just mean like the experience of convincing little children. This is what we're doing now. Let's all try to have the best time we can.
That's fun.
You know, and so my wife and I are like, for a while there, we were protecting our Friday nights, meaning like, let's try not to, when somebody says, hey, what night can we do this? Let's try not to say Friday.
Uh-huh.
So if it's like, maybe there's one night a week where we just know that like the kids are going to come home from school and then, you know, we're just going to relax and everyone's gonna, like a family evening in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I told her, I was like, you know, we're already struggling to like make this happen on like, you know, more than like twice a month on Fridays. Like they're like, nothing's going on. We can just have a Friday to ourselves and with the family. I was like, we're closer than we realize to, we just want one day a week where there's only like one thing going on. You know, like it's all just going to ramp up so quickly.
Don't you mean Saturdays?
No, because Saturdays
You
always
meet with us on Fridays.
Yeah, but we've only had to pivot to that recently.
Okay.
And also, you are my number one priority, pal. Don't mistake that.
Your wife listens to this. Whoops.
In terms of the,
I got a guest room. That's fine.
What is in this mango stuff again? I have a guest room. You know what I mean? So it's like Saturdays. You think ideally, wouldn't it be nice to be? But there's always something. There's already a game on Saturday, or one of the 6,000 kids you know's birthday on Saturday. You got to go to that birthday. So that's what I mean. Like sometimes nice.
There is a
just
lot of
a
stuff.
day where nothing is going on, but that's hard to come by.
It's hard to come by. We just wrapped up a part of baseball for my daughter, but like we're still filling that time because
It's there.
I noticed this week. So it's good that you're talking about having something every week because this is perfect. I noticed this week for the first time, I was like, oh no, like they're both getting older and now they're both.
You've just come to this realization.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought they stopped. I
What
thought
are
if
you,
you
5
give
years
them like
old?
diet soda, they stop
5 years old
growing and then they stay.
The cigarettes aren't working.
Yeah. I just smoke in their room while they're sleeping. No, like that they're getting older and like they're having their own like their wants and the things they want to do. The reason why I'm saying that is so baseball's over on Monday. And I'm like, all right, well, Monday comes, so we have nothing to do that night. So kids get out of school, do your homework. They finish their homework. And I was like, we're going to go to a park. Like we're going to keep this going.
Yeah.
Well, my son's in soccer. So he has like strong intentions of wanting to do something as well. He doesn't want to play baseball. He's not interested. So I'm like, fine. So I bring a soccer net. I bring a soccer ball. I bring baseball gloves. I bring baseballs. I bring a bat. I bring a helmet. Like, I'm like, let's just go. Let's just go to the park and let's play. And then we never touched the baseball. Played with soccer, which was great. It was fun.
That's going to be one of those dad takes, like, I brought all this stuff to play with, but, like, really the goal was to get the energy out.
It's to get the energy up, but also is
Yeah.
like trying to keep her up on her baseball because it doesn't start again until I think January. So like she's off not doing baseball until January. I was like, I want to keep that
At
excitement.
least it starts in January. We're very lucky that I can do that here in
very
Los
lucky.
Angeles.
Yeah.
Because
But she
otherwise
only
it's like-
just started is my point. It was such a
Yeah.
short session. And
Yeah.
I don't want to lose that. And then when it comes around in January, she's like, I don't really want to do that. And we're like, but you liked it. You just don't remember. And yes, the goal was to get the energy out.
Yeah.
But it was also like, I really want to play baseball with you. I really want you to because I want you to keep enjoying it. If she stops enjoying it, that's fine. We'll just let it go.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to keep that fire alive. And then we're playing soccer. And it was the three of us. And I was like, great, that's fun. We're all taking turns. We were like rotating who's the goalie. And it was fun.
Were you a Stonewall?
I didn't let anything by.
Yeah, nothing.
It was such a dad. Dad, you can't.
I can't score on you. Say that again a little
Yeah.
louder so everyone else can hear.
Yeah.
Because that's right. No one will score.
You say that to Brian? Said I was a loser at this. 7. You say it to his face.
You've always tracked on Facebook to one day post your highlight.
Mm-hmm.
The day's coming. When am I supposed to be filming you guys again next week?
God, he's another kid. He's doing
Making-
so well for himself. But it was-
I gotta get a highlight reel
Yeah.
together.
But what's funny about that is like my son is he's just enjoying the idea of soccer,
Yeah, for sure.
not even a little bit the sport. So it's just it was just funny that we had a very like constructive practice with the three of us of just like
Yeah.
taking turns. All right, you cover them and they go for the goal. All right, switch, you cover them, they go for the goal. And we just kept rotating out. It was real fun. And then, my son tonight, I couldn't have been happier for him. And talking about a couple things, he had swim and then he had soccer. So he's just gassed by the end of it.
You need a protein bar.
Yeah. And it was just funny because he's just like, and he's not the only one. There's several kids doing this there are several kids playing soccer because at the end of practice, it's an hour-long practice. The last 20 minutes, they have a game.
Yeah, a little scrimmage.
Every week,
Yeah,
a little
man,
scrimmage.
You gotta see if they learned, if they were listening.
And it's so funny because it's like 80% are playing soccer and 20% are at a park.
Yeah, at a park, some friends next to them playing with a ball.
Two guys walking up to each other. They look like I was watching two kids and I was laughing because I was like, they look like they're in an office building. And I'm like, just like looking, like stood up from my cubicle and look around and see them just standing next to each other. It's like, I didn't see it, but I heard it's good. I'll get around to it. And like
TPS
and there's
reports are really
a
up my
sea
ass.
of children behind them chasing a ball, and the two of them are like,
literally like a school of fish.
Yeah.
Like they're all so
It's
neatly
just a school of
compact.
fish.
Yeah,
and it's just like that.
school of goldfish.
And then my son came up to me at one point, and I was like, which is fine. They run up, usually get water whenever they want. And he comes up, and I was like, what's up, bud? And he just like, he doesn't sit down. He crouches down. He hugs his knees, and he goes, he hugs his knees, and he goes, I'm going to pretend to be a rock. So if the ball comes this way, it'll bounce off me. And I was like, that's a strategy.
Sounds like a central defender.
That's a strategy. But when did you go chase the ball?
I think I could make the case for it being a strategy.
But it is
I'd have to think about it.
so funny, the chaos. I love it. They have
Yeah.
they have the best coach. He is having the best time. He loves these kids, but he comes off so aggressive and mean. And it's hilarious. He does love them. The kids he's always smiling and laughing, but he's like, get the ball, God! And the kids are like, like loving it, and they're just like loving his character and his
4-year-olds.
attitude. They think it's the funniest thing. They just think he's the best. And yes, he's doing a great job. He's just yelling at him.
It's so funny when we go and we're definitely into. I mean, it's like rec center soccer. Okay.
Yeah.
No slander.
Uh-oh.
Just reality. Rec center soccer. Everything that I expected it to be, it is, and more.
Uh-huh.
Right? And there's still parents that are screaming like they got money riding on the game.
Yeah.
It's wild. And the whole time I'm just thinking it doesn't matter at all. I'm literally a sports person. I think soccer is the greatest game ever invented. I love it.
Uh-huh.
I love baseball. I like watching football. I love all this stuff. But when they're 8 years old, I really do believe as long as they're having fun and learning that like doing something as a team is great, that's literally all that matters.
Sure.
And like not that many people that are even watching this about the parent side or the coaches from either side in both seasons we've watched this is like has an inkling of that. It's more like screaming when the team is doing well, yelling at your kid from, the bleachers, get involved or like whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And the only time I ever really decide to go to the sideline or call out to my son or something is when I'm watching him. I feel like he could be getting more involved if when they push up the field, just go with him. So I'll come out there and tell him. When they go up there, go with him. It's not yelling at him or anything. It's just trying to guide him through to be a little bit more involved. And that's one thing.
Is that what you think you look like, but other parents are watching?
Yeah, when I march out there, my hands clasped behind my back. And
Hey, stupid, do you think this is free? No, I'm paying for this.
I got to get his attention somehow.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's just wild to watch this,
Yes, it
And
is.
again, through the rec center, it's like, I don't know, here's these 12 kids, here's these 12 kids, here's these 12. There's no like scouting. You know what I mean?
And that's for the best.
There's like 2 or 3 kids on my son's team that look like they know how to play. They know what's going on.
Yeah, there's a couple of those. It's great.
I might struggle one-on-one with one of these kids.
Sure.
And, like intention, beating them to the ball, looking up, dribbling around other children and shooting and scoring. And it's like, my son's playing defense and there's whatever. It's totally fine where he is now. But like my son's playing defense, the swarm of children has the ball. It squirts out in his direction. Everyone's chasing it. I look to see what his position is. He's looking at his hand. And you're thinking like, we just want to try to focus on paying attention here.
I thought I was having fun, Evan. Jeez.
And it's no big deal, but my wife and I keep talking about this going, I just want to make sure that he says he likes it, but he gets paired with these random 3 kids that can like score goals.
Yeah.
And up until last night, they were undefeated. But it's like, I don't say it otherwise. Maybe a goal or 2. I don't say it otherwise to him when he's like, we're undefeated or whatever. But it's like, in reality, it's like, you're undefeated. Those 3 kids are undefeated.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah.
It's the reality of it.
Sure.
They're kids. They're learning. Some of them have never done it before. I'm not holding that against the kids. But
Do you have to try to convince me, bud?
it's just so funny when so they go into the match last night. They're undefeated. He's like, if we win this game, we're in first place. He's all excited about it. I'm
Okay.
like, that's right. You got to work together as a team.
They work together.
They were down 2-1 at halftime.
They were down 2-1.
Down 2-1 at halftime.
Okay.
And my son,
Classic
with the
underdog
biggest
story.
heart that has been inserted in a child's body at 8 years old, runs over the sideline, and he looks like he's pretty upset. And he runs over to me and my wife and goes, what's the matter, buddy? And he's crying. He goes, I'm really discouraged.
I'm really discouraged.
Yeah, while crying. And it was like,
And you're
that is,
oh, good.
I feel that. That's also really hilarious that you said it like that.
Yeah.
What a big word. Also, when you guys are just getting your ass kicked here. That's all this is.
You were like discouraged, and your wife was like, actually, that's a vocab word. Can you spell it real quick?
Yeah, exactly.
Take a deep breath. Spell
That's
it.
exactly what it felt like. It was so funny, and I felt bad for him because they wanted to win. They ended up losing. But like, when you're a dad in this situation, what I'm thinking is, this is good. This is really good that they lost.
Oh, sure.
Doesn't feel great. The kids that normally score goals didn't score all the goals. Each of you was kind of responsible for a kid just dribbling right past you and kicking into the goal. Like, without saying it out loud, hopefully you kind of remember that situation a little bit. Now you know what it's like to kind of think, if we win, we're in first place. This is a golden. We're going to win.
Have you given that speech to him yet?
No, because here's the thing. He was discouraged. He was actually doing better after the match when he said he felt like they all tried their best, which is great. But I also try not to be the dad that's like, did you have fun? Great. And then the whole car ride home talk about all the stuff he can work on. Because then that doesn't really make it fun for him anyway. And he doesn't really feel like he's getting better potentially or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say things like, I think your coach really wants to see you paying attention and be involved in the game. And when I look up and see a kid dribbling by you with the ball and you're kind of looking at your hand, your coach is not going to think you're really paying attention. Like that kind of stuff. But he's also 8. So
I don't like to give a speech. I did. It's not the whole car ride.
Yeah.
Don't do the whole car ride.
He didn't really seem to appreciate the drawings I had made.
Yeah.
But
I pulled over, so we still had the whole car ride home.
so let me just jump into my dumb dad moment because this is all all this is happening like last night.
Dumb dad moments.
It's the dumb dad moment, starring me. And my kids have had this like, how many water bottles do you guys have? 30,000. We have a lot of water bottles in our house.
Kid water bottles?
I think you guys do a pretty good job actually of only having like one or two, and then you replace them. We seem to collect them.
We have like 4. You probably have some of ours. We've had to replace several.
Yeah, I had to scrape the names off of them.
Yeah.
But my kids recently have gravitated towards this like $1 water bottle. I don't even know where they got this thing. Right? Purple, looks like a Gatorade like sports water bottle, but it's not. I mean, this thing is like all of $1 water bottle. The first night we ever used it, my son brought it to soccer. It was laying sideways in his backpack, which meant everything was soaking wet. I mean, the thing doesn't even hold water.
Where'd you find them? At the dollar store?
No, I don't. It was like somehow we got it. I literally don't remember how it got into our house. Somehow it got into our house. And, but both of our kids like to use it. It's purple. They love purple. It's a purple water bottle. They want to use that one over all the other water bottles we have. Okay. So he brings that to the match last night. Mm-hmm. And after about 10 minutes in the first half, he gets subbed off the field. And he runs over to me. He's like, water, 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 water. And so I reach into his bag. I'm in the bleachers on the second bleacher.
Oh, nice. Good seats.
Yeah.
Did you buy those online?
Well, I know a guy. And I'm just giving in context. He's 15 feet from me, let's say.
Okay.
Get it out of his bag in the moment. He wants water. We're in the game. I toss it to him.
Okay.
Guess what?
Did you bloody nose?
No. I don't think that would have been better. Toss it to him. Hit him in the hands. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh. Was he looking at
Hit him in the hands. Dropped it. Landed on part of the cement. Top of the water bottle.
Popped
shattered.
Right Shattered.
Not popped off. Shattered
Great.
into like 8 pieces. Water spills out everywhere. He's let's say discouraged.
How many parents quietly turned around? Second row, you have a whole first row.
There was kind of a gasp around us, like that, And I didn't really know what to say or think. I just thought like, well, that didn't go well. It's kind of one of those things where you're thinking like, now's the time, without like making a big production of it. Catch it, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't dangerous. I didn't like throw it overhand or anything like that. Just thinking like, here you go, pal. You're in the moment. I'm proud of you. You're paying attention. You're coming over. You need water. Here you go. Right through his hands. Shattered. And like the water goes everywhere.
You said all that with your eyes? Or you said that all out loud? Because I understand why he would drop it if you were like, proud of you. Here, what's happening?
Yeah.
And he drops it.
It just felt like it was in the moment, like, yes, we're in it. You're doing it. You're playing. Here you go. We're a team. Fist bump in the... Oh, okay. Everyone, water. He starts crying.
Does he?
Yeah.
Great.
What's his favorite water bottle?
Was
correct.
It's almost like those you miss. Like you miss Nelson from Simpsons.
Yeah.
You just miss that?
Yeah. I felt it was like, didn't feel like it was my fault, but that kind of was the vibe I was getting.
It's definitely the vibe you were getting. It was 100% the vibe. Nobody thought it was your son's fault. He didn't say throw me the water bottle.
My wife did say, why'd you throw it to him? He's not going to catch it. I was like...
You do have him in a sport where he doesn't use his hands.
I was trying to not assume that. I was trying to... Anyway, it was hilarious. He was crying. The mom that brought the snacks jumped into action, jumped up, got him a Gatorade Prime, whatever the new thing is that everyone loves. And he was like, juice?
That'll stop him from growing.
Yeah.
Talking about them not growing.
So, oh man, it was hilarious. It was like, well, that was my dumb dad moment. I'm not even sure if I should have done that or not. I kind of just assumed like he's going to catch it. It's going to happen. And it was so much worse than that.
He's in a foot sport. He doesn't even use his hands. You expect he's going to catch it? He hasn't been working
the goalie can use his hands, Kevin.
It doesn't sound like from the stories I've heard your son's the goalie.
He's not a great goalie. I've seen him. But he's, he had a great second half. It was fine. He took it better. He took the loss. It was fine. So, all in all, it was kind of a win. But
so you're going to try to track down one of those garbage water bottles?
Literally, it's one of those water bottles, like it had a company name on it, that you get pushed into ordering like if you order 500, it's one price.
Was
But
the
if you order
company's-
1,000, it's even cheaper per bottle. And so you just slap the logo on there, and they get passed out to
Is the
tons
company
of people.
name on the cap that you shattered, and you had to piece it together, and it said TGRI? And you're like, oh no,
Oh, no.
the Ninja Turtles.
Good luck, everyone.
This had ooze in it.
That was a great shout. So, that's how the sporting went this week.
Great.
Not great. Overall, great.
Great.
Had some hiccups.
Sure.
What are you going to do?
I think that's a great. I think that worked out for everyone. I'm mad I wasn't there. I wish I had been there.
Sometimes I really wish you are there.
I would've-
So I could just look at
I
someone and be
would've-
like, I could
would've
just mouth
died.
to you, was that my fault?
And I would have been like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a pen and a paper, and I want you to write down whose fault you think it was." I'd be interested to see what you come up with.
How could it be my, who you wrote Kevin? I'm trying.
Yeah. My dumb dad moment is just classic parent frustration. So, my daughter has she has a pen pal.
Really? How'd she get that?
She had a friend from kindergarten and first grade, and
Right.
they were more best friends in kindergarten, and
Sure.
then because they weren't in the same classroom in first grade, they didn't hang out much because my daughter is like. Another reason I kind of push her for baseball is like she's definitely a natural athlete. Like she just loves to run. She plays handball all the time.
Yeah.
So every day at recess, her and all like I think now there's maybe one or two other girls that play with her, but for the most part it's like her and the boys at
Yeah.
recess play handball.
Yeah.
So even like last year, but she still hung out. And then we found out her friend was moving away. So
Right.
then we made it like an effort to like we did like a standing play date every week, and they just hung out and
Before they
stuff
before they took off.
which was is objectively a bad idea.
Let's really solidify
They're already
cement this relationship.
kind of moving away from each other because they're in different classrooms and they don't really hang out at recess time.
Let's glue them together.
Why don't we make this hard?
Yeah.
Let's make the move harder on her by like making lasting memories every week.
Only to tear them apart.
So that's what we did, and
This summer,
it was
two friends.
and it was funny. It was a delayed hit on my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were very much like, we were prepared for it. My wife and I were like, this is a bummer. I've experienced this exact thing where I had a best friend, and I was probably even closer than my daughter was with her friend, although by the end, who knows? And he moved away. So I was just like, I know what you're going through. And she was just kind of like, yeah, no, I'll be sad. Was very passive about it. And I was just like, okay, great. I don't want to twist the knife for you.
Well, you don't want to force the emotion on her.
Force the
either,
emotion. This is how you should feel.
Sure.
So we're just checking in every once in a while, and then she moved away, and then still kind of nothing. And you're like, okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had already exchanged addresses, and I think when my daughter got like the first letter, that's when it kind of started. And then she just like missed her friend, and she just occasionally draws pictures of her, not to send to her, just like I felt like drawing a picture of her, and you're like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, all right, well then let's be on top of this pen pal thing. So we've written a letter, then she's written a letter. And then recently we got a letter from her. And my daughter like right away was like, I want to write a letter back. Cause she had like, it was so weird. The day before my daughter like drew a picture of her.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day I get a letter in the mail and it's from her. And so it's like, oh, so right away she's like,
Perfect timing.
I want to write a response. And it was like, great, go for it. So she draws a picture, writes a really sweet note on it. It's so funny because they're pen pals. They're mailing physical letters, no emails. And it's really cute because it's like they're only like kind of asking and telling one thing. And then they're like, that's enough. How's school? Tell me. This is my teacher's name. Fold that shit up. Let's mail that and get that out there. She can't wait to read all that. And then she's like, school's great. My teacher is this. Have you made any friends? Close that up, mail that. It's like,
Just get you guys texting. You could tell you know each other much
I know.
better by now.
It's like we definitely could do that. I really like what they're doing. It's so sweet.
Have you guys tried? Have you ever FaceTimed or anything like
We
that?
haven't yet, but I think now that they're like, especially this last time of what just happened of like, got a letter, write a response. Because I think like for both parties, it was like get a letter, and then like, a month later, my wife and I are cleaning up the junk area, and we go, oh God, hey, you gotta write back to her.
under the 2 cell phone bills and like
okay.
That's hilarious.
and I feel like we got this letter pretty fast from when we sent our last one, and now we sent this one right away. So it's kind of like, okay.
Now it's like an ego thing.
Now it's an ego thing. Now we're gonna do it.
It's fun for the kids, and it's a competition for the parents.
Well, not the parents' ego, but so the letter that she just got, the most recent one, was handwritten. All of it was handwritten by her friend.
Yeah,
including address to and the return address, and then
all of it was written by her friend.
It was written by her friend.
Yeah.
So my daughter wants to
and there's a forever stamp.
Yeah.
Oh man, there. Okay.
Yeah. All right. For one question. So my daughter wanted to do all that as well, and we're like, great, sure, let's go for it. And luckily, we have a stamp with our return address, like a stamp, literally a stamp, little ink stamp. It just like
now you have to do all that you did, but like an 8-point font in the corner.
No, but that's the thing. She can stamp that.
That's what I'm saying.
Now
like, as if it's like that would have been all right.
That would have been. So, well, that's my point. So she was writing like the address to. I mean, and it was.
How many envelopes did you go through?
Well, that's a lot. So we went.
I'm going to set the over under at 6.
I think that's close. She wants my help with it. So
Sure.
I'm sitting there with her, and then she would write it. And because she writes so slow, and I give her like, here's your friend's envelope, here's the return address. Just write everything on there in the middle here.
Yeah.
She's like, got it. So she writes it, and the first time you look, you're like, oh my God.
That's a huge capital S.
That
is.
You've covered the whole thing. Like, you've covered the whole thing. All right, let's do it again. This is great. Let's do it again. Let's just make it a little smaller. And she's like, got it. And then it's like not much smaller, but also like the apartment is next to like I don't know, like the state or something. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of like, okay, let's do it again. And then
we're really going to challenge our mail carrier.
And then I was just like, it was one of those times, and this is like one of those moments as a parent where you just you messed up. You did a bad job because sometimes my daughter just wants me to sit with her when she does her homework in case she needs help. And then especially lately she hasn't needed help. So I'm just sitting there and
building her confidence though.
Building her confidence, and but I'm also like thinking about like there's a lot I got to do. Like there's cleaning, there's make coffee for tomorrow, there's whatever, like there's just stuff to do.
Not first grade homework.
Yeah, not first grade homework.
Or second grade homework. That's not what's you're supposed to.
And she's at that age where like if I take my laptop and I'm like sitting there typing, I just like do that slow look over, and she's just like head right next to me going, what are you doing? And you're like, okay, get back to your project. So
we're both doing homework.
Yeah. So usually I'm just on my phone doing nothing. So she's going through these envelopes, and I keep being like, okay, great. Let's do this one. And then like just keep correcting the little things. And then she did it, like she got it. And it was probably like envelope, I don't know. I'm making this up. We'll say it's envelope 5. We'll say you nailed it with 6. It might have actually been 6. So she finished writing it. I look it over. I go, this is perfect. This is great. And we're just sitting there with a bunch of envelopes everywhere. And I'm like, this is great. The other thing she kept doing that I tried to like discourage her from doing was every time she messed up, she'd open the envelope, take it out, grab the new envelope, put the letter in. I was like, how about we just wait until we get it right?
That's called being pod committed. We don't need to do that.
And she's just like, every time, take it out, put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out. I was like,
we could write it in pencil first. And then if we do a good job, trace the...
Yeah.
No. Okay. Sharpie still.
So she finishes that envelope, and I go, that's perfect. Yep, everything's right. Great. Let's seal it. And she's like, hold on, I got to put and then I was like, then we'll put a stamp on it. Luckily, I was not an idiot. Just throwing stamps all willy-nilly. But I was like, all right, let's and she's like, hold on, I gotta stamp the address. And I was like, right up in the corner. She stamps it, and she stamped it upside down.
Yep. Yeah.
And I just didn't cover it well, because it was just like, because I genuinely don't know the answer to this. I don't know if you do that. Like, I don't think they're I know they're not dummies, the Postal Service, but I don't know if they're like, it's not official. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know.
I see what you mean.
You
They're
know what
gonna
I mean?
if it's gonna get sent back to her.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I don't. So I see that she goes, oh, and I did a,
Oh, whoops.
one of those, and then she was like, she just grabbed a new one, and I was like, honestly, it's fine. I was like, you know what I'll do? I was like, I'll wait for the mailman tomorrow.
So you showed your cards
and I
to
was
her
like,
by acting a little frustrated.
Yeah, I was just so annoyed. I was like, I want this to be over, and and she was like, and I was like, I'll just wait for the mailman tomorrow. I'll ask him.
Yeah.
And if we have to, we'll make another one. But he'll probably be. I'll just ask him. And she was just like, I want to do another one. And I was like, you really don't have to. And she's like, I really want to do another one. I was like,
Please don't do another one, please.
and I was like, you don't. It's. We just went back and forth, and she just like was adamant about doing another one, and I was like, okay, let's do another one. So then she did another one, and like 4 letters in, she did something, like spelled something wrong, and then she just broke down crying.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this isn't great. And then she just pulled out an envelope, and she just like finished crying, writing it. She just cried through it and just like finished it. Did a great job. Got it all done. Stamped it. I think I got her like, she was all calm by the time we were stamping it, because I remember she was like, I got to make sure this time, like kind of making a joke of it.
But you weren't sure, and you're not gonna test those waters.
I didn't want to say it like as she was doing it. I was like, you're doing that like, and she was like, let me just check. And I was like, great, good.
Great.
I trust.
Double checking is a good practice.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was gonna tape something on top of it with the correct one.
That's what my question to you was whether or not you. It's funny that you thought about that. That the Postal Service might be like, well, this has been altered. That's what you're worried, right? This has been altered in some way. Like, I'm thinking, like, take one of the envelopes that didn't work out, cut a little triangle out of it, glue stick that, stamp that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you're thinking, like, did they get? And then you go, like, well, who tampered with this?
Right. So it's just like, I don't know. There's like just official stupid federal rules that they're like, this is what we follow. Sorry.
You were deep in the woods of homework and letter writing at that point. You're overthinking the
Yeah. And I just felt so bad. She got so upset, and it was clearly because I overreacted. And then she was just so frustrated with herself that she kept doing it. I told her I was proud of her for she kept doing it. Like, she didn't give up. But not a great dad look. She was super upset, and she's luckily she doesn't hide anything, which is great. I know those years are coming, but like she like finished it, got happy. I got her a treat of some kind. Everything's fine. We're great. And
well, it's good that you don't show.
We put the stamp on, and then we put it out by the mailbox.
Yeah.
And then she immediately like went into before we went to the mailbox, she showed it to my wife. And when she showed it to my wife, she was like, yeah, I put the stamp on upside down, and and then I cried, and then I just started crying
because of his reaction to me.
And I was like,
anyway,
I don't think that's. And I ripped it in half in front of her. I'm gonna do it again, all of it, because the letter was in there.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Well, good for her. It's one of those things where you feel like those are the kind of lessons you want them to learn. Those lessons, not necessarily a little bit of at your expense or in spite of your reaction, but it is important for her to realize, yeah, you screwed up. It's okay. You still got it done. Next time you'll be more careful. I mean, these are the kind of things that don't need to be said out loud, obviously, but like, you want your kids to learn those lessons.
It was a good lesson to learn. It was a good lesson, like, do it until you get it right, kind of thing. Like, don't cut corners just because you're tired and frustrated.
Yeah.
Do it right. Yeah, all that's great and fun, but it was just like, it's like I'm 100%, like, not 100% the reason she cried. She might not have been happy with the stamp upside down. Like, who knows what would have happened if I didn't make that face, or she didn't see me make that face.
Right.
Who knows? She might have still been like, I don't want to send this. I want to send it right, and then still cried. Who knows? But
she's like, I'm gonna do another one because if there's one thing I know, Dad, you can't trust the post office.
Yeah.
What?
Huh? And it was just like, she's like, yeah, why don't dogs like them? What do they know that we don't?
I'm going to go ask our dog.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
He's like, I hate everyone. She's like, good
You approach my door?
point.
Good luck.
But yeah, it's always tough when you're like, man, I made her cry. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no getting around it. That's a bummer.
Man. That I've done that before. I've done the exact same thing before.
Okay.
And they see that and you're like,
oh, never mind. I didn't. That was about, you know what? I was thinking about.
I was breathing through a bowel movement. Let's continue.
I was just thinking about when my friend moved away. That's what I was thinking about. I can't believe he did that.
Before we jet out of here, can I invent a segment?
If you want
I
to.
don't think we've ever done a segment like this before, but we're going to do a segment called Dad Take.
Okay.
I feel like this is like you tell me whether or not this is like a hot dad take or it's just me being an old man.
So you're going to rant about something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go to the soccer matches, right? And soccer practices. It's held by the rec center. It's a big public park. Mm-hmm. When we go to the public park, we park, we march by the tennis courts and all these things over to the soccer fields.
Uh-huh.
Every time we march by the tennis courts, there are pickleball courts right there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Number one growing sport in America right now, or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
It's hot. Pickleball's a hot topic right now.
Okay.
There's pickleball courts, and then there's tennis courts,
Uh-huh.
and then like the tennis court is split into like two pickleball courts.
Uh-huh.
Specifically on the pickleball side, I've always thought like, I bet that looks fun. I want to try. I've never tried it. I think pickleball does actually look fun. Maybe it's like, got to think of an old man sport to get. You're not going to play tennis anymore. You're not going to.
I didn't play it before.
Man, I didn't play tennis. Is really difficult. I think pickleball looks really fun. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
We're coming back from soccer practice one evening, and one of the moms I was walking with, I was like, pickleball looks really fun. I don't know what it is. I just think it'd be really fun to play. And she was like, I think so too. And as we're walking by the little shack of the person that rents the tennis courts out,
Uh-huh.
she says, how do you reserve like a pickleball court?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, it's $8 an hour. You can reserve it. It's first come, first serve. You got to bring your own net. And at that moment, my mind like blew in my head, because every time we walk by, there's nets that are at the pickleball court.
Uh-huh.
But every time we walk by, people have brought their own net that's the same height and length of that net and put it there, right with the net that is never removed from that location.
So there's two nets?
There's two nets, as if it's one net. They're right next to each other.
The classic
And the guy
pickleball.
with a straight face is like, they're $8 an hour. You can reserve, first come, first serve. You got to bring your own net. And it's like you lean back and look, and there's nets in every one of those courts.
Uh-huh.
Whether or not people have brought an additional net, there's a net that doesn't get removed. It's there all the time.
Okay.
But he says you have to bring your own net. So when you walk by and see people playing pickleball, there's their own net that's just like pressed up against the net. What is that? I've been thinking about this for like a week.
Okay, I don't know the sport. I don't know if you're like, yeah, it's a 2-net game.
It's tiny tennis.
Okay.
That's all it is. There's a net there.
Is it
and they're like, you got to
tiny
bring your own
tennis
net.
with two nets?
No. It's no.
Are you sure?
No.
No, are you sure?
It's
'Cause
not.
You don't know how to play pickleball, you said. You started with, I don't know how to play.
It's like, when the
Maybe
guy
it's
said that, I
two-net.
was like, weren't there nets out? Like, I couldn't bring myself to say it, but every night we've walked by there to soccer practice again, there's a net there. And then there's a net that somebody else brought that they're like, I mean, I can't put my net in the correct part of the pickleball court because there's already a net here. So I just have to put it as close to that as I can think.
How much are nets?
I don't know.
You don't? You didn't look.
No, because I can't even get past the idea that they're like, he makes it like a one rule only, bring your own net. Like, that's the way he says it. There's nets out there.
He appreciates you not saying anything because you know he didn't make up the rule. And the amount of times people,
I know, it's not his fault.
people like you will just be like, what's the point of bringing... But Mike, dude, I don't know.
Now that I've talked about it, I might have to do this. I've literally thought about stopping by there one day and say like, I'm not mad. I'm just curious.
Don't
You
start
said
like
you're gonna-
that.
How do you start it? I just am curious, man.
He
I
doesn't
just want to know
remember
the
you.
answer.
First,
I don't care if he just remembers me. Say like, as I understand it, you got to bring your own net.
start with hello. Don't start with I'm not.
As he slides it, I understand.
Nobody likes I'm not mad. as a starter from a stranger.
Well, because it's like I know the question I'm about to ask you is maybe a bit of a point of contention, or I don't want to piss you off.
Sure.
But I'm just curious. There's already a net there. Why am I bringing a net? Mm-hmm. Old man take?
I mean, again, you're asking me about something I don't know.
It's equivalent to saying, I want to rent the tennis court. There's a tennis court there and a net there. And they say, yeah, got to bring your own net, though. That's exactly what he's saying.
No, I understand what he's saying.
There's a net there.
You could have changed the sport a little more, like basketball. Bring your own hoop.
That's exactly what it's like. Bring your own hoop. There's a hoop there. Yeah, you got to fit your hoop there somehow. Also,
yeah, you gotta put up the nets and then basketball. You gotta take them off every time.
I don't get it, man. I'm gonna have to ask him. I lose sleep over it.
Ask him. Get an answer by the next podcast because I know people are gonna be. We're gonna get letters about this one. We don't.
It's gonna be, and the letters are gonna read.
Figure this one
Dear
out.
Dumb Dads,
fast.
did you find out the pickleball answer?
Yeah, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that on our posts. Yeah. But about the pickleball court.
Just one question.
What's the deal with the
signed?
Yeah, this press conference is cute. What's up with the nets? Hashtag pickleball.
I'm interested in getting into pickleball. Do I need to pick up a net? I don't know if it's a regional thing. Might just be a regional thing. You know, out there in Kentucky, maybe it's like, we got your nets. You just bring the heat.
Oh my God! Now you're talking about Kentucky Parks and Rec.
I don't know. Let's get out of here.
Okay. Do we have a?
Yeah, I have a joke. Ready?
Okay.
Why was Cinderella bad at soccer?
Why was Cinderella bad at soccer?
Yeah.
Is their soccer ball turned into a Corvette until midnight?
Because she kept running away from the ball.
I thought it's because the soccer ball turned into a Corvette.
I mean, she also tried to play
she
the
had
sporting.
it until midnight.
Yeah. She's also trying to play in glass slippers. I mean, no traction. Very delicate stepping.
I don't even want to think about her kicking a ball or slide tackling.
Thanks for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast this week. You can follow us on all platforms as @TheDumbDads.
You can email us, dumbdadpod@gmail.com. Right. Subscribe to our YouTube page. We're at The Dumb Dads. Rate and review this podcast if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much to Adverdu on SoundCloud for the music of this podcast. And thanks, as always, to my lovely wife, Annie, the producer and editor of this podcast. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bring your own nets.
Maybe. I don't know.
Bring your own ears to listen to this podcast.
Wait. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?